All right, thank you guys very much. Don't go anywhere. We're going to need you for more coverage in just a moment. But for now, welcome back to HQ. Sam Farber, Pat Sherwood, Annie Sakamoto, and guys, a very entertaining run. Finally, Matt Frazier's human. Somebody beat him. Actually, a couple of guys beat him in this latest event.
Frazier's putting on a heck of a show. We have to give him credit. But the people who aren't winning are doing amazing out there, from Patrick Vellner on the men's side and then Caroline Reese-Tebow on the women. So people are pushing around the leaders.
Yeah, if Matt Frazier's human for losing, then Patrick Vellner's just not for doing what he's been doing with a busted bicep. We'll have plenty more to come here from the Eastern region, get you caught up on what's going on out in the Central area as well. But right now, we want to recap the day's events across the pond, out in the Meridian region. Some of the best CrossFit athletes in the world put on a real show on day number 2. Sean Woodland quarterbacks our coverage. Let's get it out to him in Madrid.
Thanks, guys. It was a pretty interesting day today at the Caja Mágica in Madrid, Spain. Of course, this place is known as the Magic Box, and Sam Briggs made a 36-point deficit disappear in 2 events.
It was amazing to see. We thought that she was going to be able to make an impact. We just never thought it was going to be something like this. This was out of the ordinary.
She started the day 36 points out of a spot in the top 5. She goes out and mauls the first 2 events. She set an event record in event number 4. And Sam Briggs now finds herself in 3rd place overall. She had a hiccup in the first event, but that is a distant memory now after what she pulled off today.
It definitely is, and what she's going to carry into tomorrow is the success of today, the feeling of accomplishment that she's no longer in trouble. Now it's all about cementing that place.
And Samantha Briggs sits in 3rd place, and the women in the top 5 are pretty solid with 2 events to go. Sarah Sigmundsdottir and Annie Thorisdottir have been waging quite the battle over 5 events. Briggs sits in 3rd, followed by Turi Helgadottir and Kristen Holta. But the biggest story of the day, Samantha Briggs, and Rory McKernan caught up with her.
Sam, you've fought your way back into contention with a fantastic performance on day 2. When you look at the big picture going into the last day, what needs to happen for you?
I just need to get through event 6 and still be hopefully in that top 5. I don't want to go into event 7 with everything depending on event 7. We've seen in all the other regions so far that so much can happen on those rope climbs.
Now event 6 specifically, you said it's not your favorite workout, so how do you succeed in that one?
I just need to play my game. I know that girls like Sarah are going to go out hot and they're going to pick that bar up straight away, unbroken. I need to play my game and not try and get involved in theirs, and just do a good job at the workout and not try and rush through it.
Now, as the most veteran athlete here, I was surprised to hear that still gets to you, the crowd and the lights, and it can take you away. Tell me about that.
Sometimes everybody's cheering at you, shouting at you, can make you feel invincible, and you need to have a reality check sometimes. It doesn't always work. I mean, sometimes it does. Those deadlifts felt a lot lighter than they did in training, but other times it can crash pretty bad. So you've got to remember what you're actually capable of and try and play your game, and not pay any attention to what the Icelandics are doing.
All right, we'll let you go and recover. Thank you, and we'll see you in the morning.
Thank you.
Sam Briggs looking like she is well on her way towards making a return trip to the CrossFit Games. On the men's side, the big story, a man who has never been to the CrossFit Games but now sits in 2nd place overall with 2 events to go, and that's Andrea Barbodi.
Andrea Barbodi, we were talking about it yesterday. He was one of these new guys who made a really big impact on the first day. Was he going to be able to back it up? And he sure was, especially on the last workout. We saw him getting challenged. He came out fast. He was challenged by Björgvin Carl Gudmundsson, and he just increased the pace and came up with an event win.
Andrea Barbodi has not finished outside the top 10 since event number 1, and he continues to get better. A 5th, a 2nd, a 9th, and then closes out day number 2 with an event win. And as a result, he sits solidly in 2nd place ahead of Jona Koski. Björgvin Carl Gudmundsson continues to lead. He has been the overall leader since event number 1. But look how close the battle is for that 5th and final spot. Lukas Eislinger, Lukas Hogberg, and Adrian Moonweiler all involved in that, as is Stefano Migliorini. A lot of new faces there. Which one do you think has the best chance to work his way into the top 5 on the final day?
I think Adrian Mundweiler has a good chance of making it back there. I was impressed with his effort on day 1. I was really impressed that he was able to back it up today, so I'd like to see him do very well.
A lot still to be decided for the men on the 3rd and final day. Be sure you watch it all live here on games.crossfit.com. That's it for us here at the Caja Mática. For Matt Jacobson, I'm Sean Woodland. We'll send it back to the studio.
All right, thank you, guys. A very interesting day out there in Europe. I think we can all agree on the women's side especially, that's a region where you can see quite a few contenders for Games champion. On the men, Matt Fraser's making fans of a lot of us, but even there, we saw some very impressive performances.
Yeah. I was very impressed with the Italian kid there, Barbodi. I mean, anyone who's out there giving, Bjorgvin Carl Gudmundsson a little bit of a run for his money, yeah, I'm a fan.
We're going to go ahead and take a look at the one part of that region that wasn't covered by the guys over there, and that would be the team leaderboard. And not a huge surprise because they were so strong on day 1, but Nordic OPEX is at the top of the board. CrossFit Yaz sitting in at number 2, and the bottom line here is consistency. Everyone, actually not consistency, it's excellence. Everyone in the top 5 has at least one first place finish. So if you're going to catch these guys, you got to go out there and really beat them if you're going to go to the games. Rory McKiernan caught up afterwards with the men and women of Team Yaz.
So how does it feel after today, all top 3 finishes?
Yeah, really awesome. We knew event 1 wasn't going to be our best, but then we absolutely overdid what we expected. So it was awesome yesterday. Morale was at a real high. And then, we just brought it forward to today. And we said last year we just want to have fun. And then we're having fun again. It's awesome. So, yeah.
Well, it came down to the wire. Could you feel the other team pressing you, or did you just stay in the zone?
Stayed in the zone mostly. You could feel people around you, and I knew why not go faster, because that's what you should do. And, we got there in the end, I guess.
There you have it, the other Rory Mack invading the European continent. Rory McKiernan with the great coverage out there and the rest of the team. So those two teams, we had OPEX as well as Yaz in the top 2 spots heading into day number 3.
Yaz just had a lot of momentum, it looked like today. They went 2nd, 3rd, and then 1st place to finish out the 2nd day. They're headed up by Jamie Green, who won the Open for the women's side. So I think that they're picking up speed and should hopefully carry that speed through day 3.
All right, let's advance on now to the East Regional. Lots going on over there, as you've seen throughout the day in Albany. Here's a look at the team leaderboard. And again, this is a region where you have to be a team that's going to be consistent throughout. All the top 5 have all top 10 finishes here. So it's very difficult to break into this group because they're just not leaving a whole lot of points on the board. We've got one of the leaders here, CrossFit Milford Black, catching up with Mike Arsenault.
An event record that's going to keep you well into the top 5. I want to talk about that last pair, the 21:59. Where did you find that energy for that push? Did you know where Jack RX Red was throughout that workout?
We weren't even concerned about anyone else. We just knew we had to come in and do our job. Our biggest thing going into these events is trusting each other and executing, and that's exactly what we did, and that's the result you're going to get every single time if you do those 2 things.
As you get tired, was it difficult to keep the synchronization on the burpees?
No, we keep eye contact through the whole entire workout. We practiced it so many times. We knew exactly who needed what cue, and we moved so fluent. It was perfect.
Now, this is a special weekend here. We have a quick shout out.
I just want to give a quick shout out to my brother Chris, who's serving overseas. I wanted to say thank you to all of our military vets, past and present. Happy Memorial Day.
Nice sentiment and fantastic performance by Milford Black on event 6.
Thank you.
Event record.
Thoughts we all echo here as well at Memorial Day. I mean, the military obviously a special place here with CrossFit, so very apropos to have that statement there at the end. Let's talk more about this region. They're not the only team, Milford Black, contending right now, not just for top 5, but for a top spot heading into Carson.
Now, Jack RX Red is currently your leaders, but hot on their heels is Dynamics, and they had the best day 2 of any team out there competing. They had a 3rd, a 1st, and a 4th. This is the team, just to catch you up. We were kind of throwing around the super team potential. They'd been to the games before, heavily recruited some members as far away from Australia, moved over to New York to try to get themselves to the games, and the day 2, that's kind of what we expected from them.
Day 2 on the women's side saw the continued domination in terms of the top of the leaderboard by Katrin Davidsdottir over from across the Atlantic and just taking over this region. She sits in first. Caroline Reason-Thibault, she is in second right now. But then after that, some question marks. We had an injury to Michelle Letendre. We'll get you more on that in a moment. Whitney Gellin ends her day with a first-place finish. But Katrin Davidsdottir, reigning fittest woman on earth, she is in first place at the end of day 2, and she also caught up with Mike Arsenault.
How do you feel about your performance thus far?
Really happy. I knew that today was going to be a huge challenge for me. Those heavy deadlifts have caught me at a dead stop so many times in competition. The single in 2013, I couldn't finish the deadlifts. That was even at 265. ECC, that was a 285, couldn't budget once. So this day was a real mental struggle for me, and I finished. I'm so happy with my performance in this. Regardless of what the placing will happen, I'm thrilled about this, and my back is healthy, so that's great. Tomorrow is going to be a blast.
All right, so there you have it, the reigning champ, and she looked very strong again here on day 2.
She did. She definitely didn't have the day 2 that she had on day 1. She had a little bit of struggle, she said, on the deadlift. Not quite the result that I had expected, but she said it right there. She's really looking forward to day 3, so I think she'll hold the lead going in.
Now, anytime we do a competition, spot number 1 is always spot lit, because you want to see who's going to win these events. But really, it's about getting into the top 5, and Michelle Letendre is currently there, but there's a major question mark. She basically had to break down at the last part of her last event due to injury. Caught up with her after that event to get the latest.
After the 3rd run, the quad cramped up really bad. Couldn't walk on it. Fell off the true form, and I just couldn't bend my knee. My leg just locked up. So I knew it was a possibility going into it, but it happens. You deal with it. It just cramped up, and I was in the medic area for a good 10 minutes after, and it just kept cramping. It wouldn't stop. It's better now. I can move my leg. I can bend my knee. I'm going to do my best tomorrow and try and recover. And there's nothing else I can do except just move on and think about tomorrow's workout and just get after it.
And that's just amazing that it's only a severe cramp. And we say only because it looked doubtful at one point on whether or not she'd be able to continue in this competition.
Hearing what Michelle just said there makes me so happy. I'm supposed to be unbiased in my position as an analyst, but I have my favorites, and Michelle's one of them, and it's her last year of competing, and to see what I thought was potentially her ending it like that was heartbreaking. So to hear that it's not some severe injury, it's just obviously a horrible, horrible cramp, I've got no doubt she's going to get a tremendous amount of body work in her, done some food and fluids, rest up tomorrow. She can make another run. She's been to the games 5 times. I mean, she finished 5th worldwide in the Open. That is not how your career of competing is supposed to end. So my fingers are crossed. Day 3, strong for Michelle.
And hopefully she can be back as close to 100% as possible, because Whitney Gellin, she is coming on strong. She won the final event there on day number 2. All right, the men's individual coverage, we still got to get covered. And let's go back out to Albany, get the latest on their leaderboard.
Thanks, guys. And here in Albany, New York, day number 2 saw several things. We saw multiple event records. We saw a couple of dramatic moments in terms of possible injuries. And then we even just saw a marriage proposal out on the floor. So we've seen all that. And we also saw Matt Fraser, event 1, event 2, event 3, event 4 winner. But who would have thought the star of the day would be Patrick Vellner, who ever since he injured his bicep, tore his bicep at event number 1, 4 straight top 10s, he sees himself in 2nd place.
This guy is incredible, setting himself up nicely for Carson, but there are some athletes I want to say don't leave out of the mix. Sitting down in 8th and 9th, veteran athletes, Austin Malleolo and Spencer Hendel. Austin Malleolo today taking 2 second-place finishes, gives himself a possibility for contention in a qualifying spot, sitting only 21 points out.
21 points out a day after he was 23rd in the standings. Malleolo in 9th, 21 points separating James Kozlakowski from his first possible games appearance. He's in 5th. Austin Malleolo looking for number 6, currently standing in the 9th position. And for Matt Fraser, what a day it was for him and what a weekend it's been. first place in the first 4 events, and he got to the point where a 6th place finish in event number 5 was a disappointment.
He was sure frustrated. We heard him afterwards. He just was not happy with his performance. But you know what? That's only going to light a fuel that fire for tomorrow for him to finish up real strong.
And a little bit ago, to speak about that event 5 performance, Matt Fraser met up with Mike Arsenault.
Matt, you're still comfortably in first place after 5 events, but you look visibly upset after event number 5. What happened?
Just disappointed in my performance. I was expecting a lot more out of myself, and I didn't quite perform to my standards.
So you're in first place going into day number 3. I want to look ahead because we talked a little bit earlier. You graduated from university, 100% focused on CrossFit. So how is your training going to change heading toward Carson?
Training doesn't change at all, really. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. So we're working over the last couple months. I feel great. It's more just paying attention to the little things that I wasn't before, like nutrition, sleep schedule, mobilizing, everything else that goes in outside of the gym.
Is there anything in the final 2 events remaining that concerns you at all?
No, day 3. I like day 3. It'll be exciting. It'll be a good race.
Thanks for your time. Rest up. We'll see you tomorrow.
I've never seen anybody look so upset about being 99 points ahead of second place after 2 days of competition. But Matt Fraser, current points leader at 475. Patrick Vellner in second. And Alex Vigneault, Albert Dominique Larouche, and James Kozlikowski currently holding those 3 through 5 spots on the bubble here after 2 days of competition with 1 remaining in Albany. We'll have the coverage of that coming up at 9 a.m. Eastern, starting with the teams as we find those 5 teams, women and men, that will move to Carson. And until then, we go back to the studio out in Santa Cruz.
All right, thank you, guys. And I must echo those sentiments because Matt Fraser, there's so many ways you could describe him there: determined, focused. Happy's not one of them, and he won 4 events. Take a look. Here's the record board. Only 5 athletes in the history of the CrossFit Games have been that kind of dominant at this point in a regional, and only Camille LeBlanc-Bassinet has been more dominant with 5 wins.
You know, I like Matt Fraser. I have to because he's from the New England area. I'm from the New England area. Obviously there's a lot of great athletes up there. But other than that, he competes a little angry. I mean, he's a nice guy in real life, but he has that chip in his shoulder. He's never content with what's going on, almost Josh Bridges-esque. And I just think, man, that is making him dangerous. He's doing so well, and he just said he hasn't been able to focus on things like sleep and nutrition and whatnot.
That's crazy to me. I'm not from New England, so I don't have to like him.
Explains a lot.
I just choose to like Matt Fraser because he's a good guy, so I think that beats you on that one. But really, the fact that little things like sleep and nutrition, I would say, are pretty big factors overall. And now that he's going to sew those things up and continue training, I mean, that just means he's only going to get better, right?
Yeah, scary.
By the way, in case you didn't notice, we snuck in Tommy Marquez there.
Hey, Tommy.
Yeah, for more coverage here of the Central men's competition. Plenty more where that came from, too. Let's take a look at our leaderboard right now. The team competition on the Central leaderboard at the top, you'll see CrossFit Mayhem. They have been the Matt Fraser, if you will, of this competition, more or less dominating throughout. But OC3 Black, they've done nothing but post top 10 finishes all throughout, and that has them currently in a qualifying position in at number 5. But let's send it back out now to the Central region. Nicole Brazier catching up with the men and women of CrossFit Mayhem.
An unbelievable new record set down here by Mayhem Freedom. How did you guys decide which pairings to send?
Oh, it was hard, but we kind of figured out in practice. We knew that James and I, we liked the short sets, so we could kind of try to stay unbroken and go fast. Lindy knew she kind of needed to pace the deadlifts, so sets of 15 were smart for her. And then Ellie and Matt, no, that's perfect wrestling for you guys, yeah.
Perfect. We've had 2 grueling days of competition. You guys have stayed strong the entire time. How are you feeling going into day 3?
After that, we're feeling really good. The day didn't start quite like we wanted, not bad, but not great. But after that one, I think we're pretty psyched for day 3.
Congratulations, guys. A great new event record here for this event.
So there are your leaders, CrossFit Mayhem Freedom. After 2 days, they currently reside in the top spot in the Central region.
You know what I like about what's happening out there with Freedom is, you know, if you win an event overall, if you win a heat, you get interviewed. So how many times do you think Froning's been interviewed? Almost countless. So he's letting other members of her team be interviewed, and at the end you can hear him. He's like, "Good job, you did a good job interviewing and whatnot." So let's just go win more workouts, and I'll coach you up. So, they're out there just having fun and steamrolling the competition.
Well, I hope they win a few more because poor Hobart was in the back. He was like the odd man out, getting left behind in the back of that shot there. But if you look at how far they are ahead, I know their sights are set on winning this region, but they're 126 points ahead of 6. They only have to average a 25th place finish the rest of the way out for them to qualify. So they've done plenty of work, and I think that's pretty much in the bag.
All right, now let's shift our attention to the women's leaderboard here in the Central region. And this has been the most exciting competition in terms of highs and lows. Up top, you see Sheila Barden, Brooke Wells in third. Both of them have multiple first place finishes at this point, and those overwhelmingly positive finishes have put them on top, but consistency hasn't necessarily been there. Let's hear from our leader after 2 days worth of work, Sheila Barden catching up with Nicole Brazier.
How hard do you have to fight tomorrow to maintain that position?
I mean, every event is a battle. You're never safe, no matter what. I definitely am taking one event, and not even one event, 1 second, 1 rep, 1 watt at a time, because anything can happen. And I'm just grateful to be here competing, and the plan to get to Carson is well on its way.
Absolutely. Congratulations. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
And a little kiss for the fans at home. Here's something that kind of exemplifies what we were talking about, though, a moment ago, guys. The highs and lows of this region, and just within 2 athletes, Sheila Barden and Brooke Wells, it seems if one's doing well in a certain competition, certain event, the other one is not.
There have been so many ups and downs and leaderboard changes. Someone's in the top 5, they're nowhere near it, that you have to keep your eye on this leaderboard and keep updating your phone. You're going to miss something out there.
That line graph looks like my heart rate monitor after event number 7, but Sheila Barden had a great day. Before this regional, I picked her as one of my athletes to watch an event for, and she showed exactly why. She was just a piston on each of those single leg squats. She ends up winning this event. It's the kind of event finish you need if you want to stay at the top, especially with last year having her fall short in that final event.
Agreed. We said, she's somebody that can destroy those pistols, but overall be winning the region, that is catching me off guard 100%, so she's got to hold on now.
All right, so you're caught up now on what's going on with the women. You're caught up on the teams. What about with the men's competition? Going into event number 5, we had a logjam between number 4 and number 8. Is it cleared up at all? Let's find out with the crew out there in Columbus.
Well, we had athletes rising and falling all day today on day number 2 of competition, but what was falling the most were event records, specifically in event number 3. 3 times this event got broke from heat 2 to 3 to 4.
And it was by seconds each time. So we started off in heat 2, and we saw a break right there with Andrew Fleichler, and he did it in a 4:06. And then it goes into Jacob Hepner in heat 3, and we get a 4:04. Look at the determination on that man's face. And then heat 4, it breaks again. Kevin Schultz, he was the first person only to go sub 4 minutes with a 3:52, and he even went ahead and made a little joke about himself for having short arms, making it a short range of motion. But hey, that was an amazing performance. So we had 3 record breaks there.
And who's had a steady performance all weekend long has been Scott Panchik. And what more can you say about the guy? Just consistent throughout the last 2 days.
The worst event that he had was a 12th place finish. He's done so well this entire event, and he just lost his overall lead, and he's now sitting in 2nd place. So he had a 2nd, 3rd, 9th, 6th, and a 12th place finish. He's only 10 points away from taking that first again. And I don't know about you, but I'm really looking for a fire in the belly tomorrow. I want to see an event win from him in order to get him to take back over that first place.
No, Scott was super consistent, had a great day 1. And I think we're going to declare day 2 at the Central Regional Jacob Hepner Day. 2 second-place finishes, finishing off with event win. Vaulted himself up into first place after coming in today in 13th.
13th, and then 3rd, and then 1st here. And every time you watched him move on an event, it was purposeful. He was smooth. He was fast. He wasn't looking too much around the field. He just knew because he was in Heat 3, he had to beat the guys in the next heat. So it was his game, and he took over that leader position, and it was just a flawless day for Jacob.
And your new leader after 2 days of competition was Jacob Hebner, and Nikki Brazier got to talk with him after finding out that he was at top of the leaderboard.
It is unbelievable to see you sitting at the top of the. Can you see?
Yeah.
Okay.
Barely.
Top of the leaderboard here. Huge move for you after day one. I mean, how did you crawl your way back to the top?
Well, we already talked about this like 9 times. I know.
You keep winning.
I'm like a broken record. I'm gonna repeat myself. Day 1 was hard, really hard, but day 2 was fun. Yeah.
Day 2 was CrossFit, as you like to say.
Day 2 was CrossFit. Dave Castro pulled me aside and said, day 1 was CrossFit too. And I said, you're right.
Yeah, it was.
I don't argue with him.
No, it was. No, and he's right. But day 3 is a bunch of more different skills, actually. We haven't seen you rope climb in a little bit. How do you feel about that?
So we'll start with the mid-6. That's first. Yeah. So event 6 is going to be fun. I'm excited for the burpees. They're coming back. It's going to be
Said
awesome.
no one ever?
No, I am. It's going to be fun. I'm going to fall behind probably.
Oh, okay.
And event 7, it's totally up in the air. Like, it's like event 3. Like, if you get a no rep, you're up. What is it? You're up a creek without a paddle?
That's it, yep.
Yeah.
That's the family-friendly way to say it.
Yeah, I almost said the not family-friendly version. But yeah, it's going to be fun tomorrow. I'm excited for it. Go home and have some home-cooked mother's cooking, and yeah, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be fun.
Well, congratulations. It's a big day for you.
Thanks so much.
Excited to see you tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
And after 5 events, Jacob Hebner has a 10-point lead on Scott Panchak after an incredible day 2 second-place finishes and an event win in the 3rd heat, no less, today. Pretty much all by himself. Alex Anderson, Zach Cardetti sitting out of, did I say it wrong again? Carcetti.
We love you, Zach. We're
sorry
sorry
about that. We'll get you tomorrow, Zach, and then Sam Dancer rounding out your top 5 with Castillo and Holmberg. 28-30 points out, still within striking distance, and this is shaping up for one heck of a day 3.
There's 200 points left, so they are in striking distance, and you might expect that 3, 4, 5 possibly to shift a little bit more. I'm excited to see what happens.
If you want to check the full standings and results after our past 2 days of competition for the teams, women and men, go to games.crossit.com. For Cherie Chan, Nikki Brazier, I'm Chase Ingram. We'll say goodbye here in Columbus, Ohio, and send you guys up to recap day 2 across the world at the Update Show desk. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
All right, thank you guys, and that just about puts a wrap on what has been a record-setting Saturday here at Week 3 of the CrossFit Games Regionals. The Meridian region dominating things on the women's side, setting event records every step of the way, and after 3 weeks and the best athletes across the world to do that over and over again is just so impressive, but maybe not as impressive as what happened on the men's side, because while there was a record set in each and every event there too, Patrick Vellner did in the last one with a blown bicep.
This kid's so tough, just, again, living up to all expectations. And if he qualifies with that torn bicep, I'm curious to see what decision he makes moving forward.
He pulled those 4 or 5 deads off the ground like it was nothing, even with a torn bicep. That is impressive.
It certainly was. Well, we start bright and early tomorrow with our coverage of day 3, the final day of regionals. It's almost come to a close. We'll have coverage from Madrid, from the Meridian Regional, and then, of course, get you back caught up with everything going on in East and Central Regionals as well. So don't miss a moment of it. Make sure you're locked in from the first second, and if you miss anything, make sure you check in back with us here at headquarters. We will have you covered. For Annie Sakamoto, who you will see tomorrow here, Pat and Tommy, I'm Sam Farber. It's been a pleasure and a privilege. We will talk to you tomorrow, day 3 of the CrossFit Games. It's only a few hours away.
Sarah Sigma's daughter with 5 to go. Thor's daughter won't be far behind. Janikowski will set the new time to beat.